what are some spooky movies that you have been like watching so far?
I haven't been watching any.
You
Well,
haven't watched any
not really, especially just dealing with all this legal stuff. But
legal
yeah,
stuff.
I've been watching a lot of Scooby Doo with my daughter.
You heard it here first. Pedro was pirating Scooby Doo online right now.
Yeah, right. On HBO Max, Scooby Doo. Was watching some Haunting on Hill House.
Ooh,
A lot of that.
Haunting Hill House. It's one of my favorite shows. You know that, right?
Yeah, I know that.
You don't know that.
I know that because that's one of the topics for today's episode number 3 of the Leisure Hub podcast, and we're gonna continue with Spooktober, spooky shows that bring chills and thrills.
Ooh, giving me that thrill.
You like that?
Yeah, it's giving sending some shivers up my spine a little bit.
All right,
Up my
good.
putza.
So, Haunting on Hill House. Let's talk about that.
What do we want to talk about? I don't know, man. I don't know anything about Haunting Hill House. This is the first time I've ever
Well,
been here.
you recommended it to me.
I did recommend it. I honestly have to say that like it's one of my favorite shows of not just Spooktober, but in general. This show came out like in 2018. You know that, right?
It's been that long.
Yeah.
It feels like it came out like 2 years ago.
No. Oh well, that's the thing. I was talking about it with some friends, and they were like, "Oh, you realize the show came out like in 2018, right?" I was at a Halloween party,
Yeah.
2 weekends ago,
hmm
and we were talking about.
Wait,
Um,
Halloween party?
Yeah, I went to a Halloween party. Yeah. Well, my friends Angel and Savannah, they just got married. And so they got married like 2 weeks before and they were going to their honeymoon. And so they ended up going uh I'm laughing right now because I don't know, I'm like blanking on like the story, but
To
like
be honest, I just wanted to know about the costumes that you were wearing.
oh, the costume?
Yeah.
Really? Okay. Well, you heard of Nightmare Before Christmas, right?
No,
No?
I'm joking. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. So my girlfriend and I dressed up as I dressed up as Jack and she dressed up as Sally.
Do
And
you have a
she
picture?
bro, I do.
Show it.
She I'll post it up right now. But I don't actually know. I have to talk to her about
Yeah,
it first
yeah. I was gonna say.
because I feel like she'll be like, no, don't post that up line because I don't want people to see that. But
That's fun.
bro, she went hard on the makeup. Hard. And like she was Sally, blue face, everything. She
Yo.
got a wig for. She painted the dress by herself.
I remember. That 2 weeks
She
ago where I was here, she was working on it.
Yeah, she finished it, and bro, I can tell
It
you,
was really
it
good.
turned out fire,
I didn't see it. I didn't see the complete version of it, but when she was working on it, it looked pretty good.
dude. I was really impressed. She spent probably like 2 hours doing like just her makeup. That's not even like the dress. The dress in total was probably about, I would say 20, maybe 15 hours worth of like doing the just the dress.
Wow,
Yeah, and then she had to like cut it to make it look like it was shredded and stuff like
that
that,
made it
bro.
much better. Just like better than buying a costume off of Spirit Halloween or something like that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but you're
No,
investing
I
your
think there's
time.
something wrong with that,
How?
bro. No, I don't know.
They have good costumes. So, I mean, investing your own
No,
time
they did,
and
but
talent
like,
in the costume, I think it's. I don't know. I guess you get to enjoy
yeah,
the
but
experience better.
bro, like we were looking at costumes on Amazon, and the costumes are really expensive. It was like fit for her costume. It's $50. So she bought
$50.
50 bucks, 50 bones, bro. And so like she looked at mine, and mine was around like 50 some bucks too. And I was
What
like,
the?
damn, like at least hers she could make herself. Like how the hell am I supposed to make Jack's costume? I was the king of Halloween, but how the hell am I supposed to make my costume? You know what I mean?
I want to see
But
that picture before I leave.
yeah, I'll have to show you that picture. And if the picture comes up on the screen for you guys, unfortunately, like whether it's there or not, there's nothing I can do about it. I can't make the girlfriend upset.
We went a
But
little bit off topic
a little
there,
off
but
topic.
anyways, you
We
were
don't
at the
care.
party in Hill House.
So we were talking about Hill House there. We were talking about like all these shows on Netflix, blah blah blah. Another one's coming up called Haunting of or not
Bly
Haunting,
Manor.
not Haunting of Bly Manor.
Oh,
We
Bly
were
Manor.
talking about the Fall of Usher.
Mm.
Fall of Usher. And like so Bly Manor, it's funny that you bring up Bly Manor. Bly Manor, Hill House, Midnight Mass, and House of Usher are all like a part of the same creators. Like they all made
The show.
made these series or the shows. And like I remember when Hill House first came out, dude. I watched it by myself. I didn't have anybody to watch it with because my mom doesn't like scary stuff. I didn't have a girlfriend at the
Yeah.
time. Blah blah blah. And I remember watching. I got up to I think it was like the second to last episode of Haunting Hill House. You watched the whole thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah, dude. What was there one scene that that scared you or not?
Yes, one.
One.
I mean, it was one scene, and I actually got scared, and it was the scene where two sisters were fighting in the cars in the car ride,
bro. Yes.
and then what was her name? Nell.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Nell, and she had died.
Yes.
And they were they were arguing, and then what was her name? The bent neck lady.
Which lady, yeah.
Turned out to be,
yeah.
Spoiler alert, it turned out to be Nell.
Yeah.
And then she just comes screaming right in between them. Oh man, that gave me chills.
Dude, well, because like her sister, bro, like thinking back to this show, I did you watched it with your wife, right?
No.
No, you watched
she
it by
doesn't
yourself?
watch. She doesn't watch.
She doesn't like scary stuff?
Nope, I watched it by myself.
Really? I would have taken her to watch scary stuff.
No. But she would watch like little scenes here and there, and then she would say, "Oh, this is not that bad," but I feel like there are certain scenes that she would not.
I thought you were about to say Little Big Planet when you said that. Yeah, I was like, that doesn't relate at all. No, but yeah, like that scene was like
that got you.
That got me, bro. I was sitting upstairs. I was back when I was living at my mom's house. I was sitting up watching it, bro. And I think my grandmother was there at the time. And so I'm sitting there, I'm watching it, and they're yelling. It's Shelly is her name, or I don't know what they call
Theo?
her Shelly and Theo.
Uh-huh.
They're both talking in the car, talking about this major event. Well, basically Theo ended up kissing Shelly's husband at this point. I know we're not even telling the story like from how it starts, but like doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter.
No, but like they were like arguing about it, and she was like explaining like that I didn't try it. That's not what I wasn't trying to like kiss your husband.
This was building up.
It was building on
to a heated argument.
So you know how like scary. You know how scary movies will have like music to build up to certain things. The Hill House, when it has a really deep moment like this, they cut all music out.
They use the conversation to build it up in a way. Because oh man, it gives me chills right now.
Bro, I loved Hill House. Hill House, I can vouch for Hill House any day of the week. I can tell anybody to go watch it, assuming you're a horror fan. But the thing is about Hill House is that, at least that I've come to realize, is that it's not entirely a scary series. It has horror elements. It has a lot of horror elements.
It's more enjoyable than, I guess, it's a psychological factor.
Yeah, they have a lot of foreshadowing in it, which I love. You've only watched it the first time, right?
Yeah.
How were there things that you caught in the beginning that were like, oh, I recognize that? Did you realize that yet? Or because I know that it's kind of hard to tell from the first time.
No, I feel like everything caught me by surprise.
Yeah.
I didn't expect Nell to be the bent neck lady.
Yeah.
But everything caught me by surprise. I guess that's why I took it. It's more enjoyable that way.
Right.
But no, I didn't foreshadow anything. Right. I mean, I guess I'm stupid.
No. I mean, just a little bit, but anyway, I mean, we all got it. Everybody who's watched this already got it. No, but like I remember watching it, and like there was like probably just exactly like you. There was a lot of things that I went through. I enjoyed the entire show.
So you watched it a second time?
Bro, I watched this show 4 times.
Why?
I watched this show 4 times. Don't ask me why.
Okay.
Don't ask me why. I don't want to talk about it. You know what? I'm done. Let's on to the next subject.
You know what? I don't blame you. It is a show, because after it ends, like, in order to get everything, you might want to get something on.
And we're back, baby. We had to take a little intermission really quick because
I had to go tinkle.
Pedro had to go tinkle. But truth be told, Pedro had to fart. And so the mic is really close.
It's impossible. I don't fart. You know this. I don't. I know. I've never farted.
We talked about this in the first podcast, remember?
I just burp.
Burp? Go ahead, burp.
I can't. I don't feel like burping.
But we were talking about Hill House, right?
Yes. What exactly about Hill House? Building conversation, the build up of the conversation.
Oh, we were talking about how like watching it the first time, there's things that you don't pick up, versus like the second time you if you watch the second time, no. So I watched it 4 times. Remember? I was saying I
Four
watched it four
times,
times.
and then I said, "Excuse me."
Oh,
There you
see,
go.
he's
That's a
burping.
burp.
He's burping. Yeah, burp number one. Counter on the
And
put
then
on the
I
screen
and
right now.
then yeah, but I see why would you would watch it more than one time, because there's so many psychological factors, and they mix in, the horror or the quote unquote fiction on your stereotypical horror films, and they kind of tie it in with psychological factors, like psychological problems that people actually have.
Yeah,
And
dude, you keep looking off to the side. Is there something behind me right now?
no, but
I feel
that's
like
kind
there
of
is.
that would be kind of cool. But anyways,
No, not
I
if I'm
mean
getting
with
ripped
the topic
away.
we're talking about,
Yeah,
but
I mean, yeah, if one of us dies, yeah,
but
you
I,
already
I
heard
I
it.
just think it's really cool how they tie it in with actual psychological disorders.
Dude, so so I watched this 4 times, right? Like I said, like this is my 10th time saying that I watched it 4 times, and I
Yeah.
just
Oh,
said it
you
again.
love this show.
I
I
love the
know. I
show.
know
I loved it.
it.
The writing in it was great. The actors in it, phenomenal. The story in it, fantastic. There's not a single beat that this show missed.
I
Nothing.
I would like to differ.
Well, you can't because this is
No. I can't.
no.
But the show was really good. I completely agree. But sometimes I feel like you know they spend a lot of time. It's kind of like Attack on Titan. You know how they talk a lot,
hmm
but you kind of have to hear what they say in order to understand like the action that's going on.
Right.
So it's kind of like that. I mean, it's a 10 out of 10, but if you get bored easily, or can't pay attention to long conversations and stuff like that.
That's not good though.
I know that's not good, but I'm saying you're gonna have to bear through that in order to
Right.
understand like the action packed scenes.
Right. No, I completely understand what you're saying. And that is one thing that I would have to preface but by saying like if you're going to watch this show, you 100% have to be someone who has a decent attention span. Like
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
very good. Like it's a very good show. Like they don't miss a beat. Like I said earlier, the story writing in it is basically flawless. There are no plot holes in this series at all. Like
Yeah.
none. They cover all of their tracks. They make sure every point that they touch on in the very beginning is completely wrapped up by the end, and the ending of the entire show is wrapped up in a nice
Yeah,
little
it
bow.
wraps it up really good. And actually, it ends in a horrifying way, but gives you, there's it's hopeful.
Actually, I would disagree with you on that
Why?
because the ending of it kind of it ends in more of a peaceful.
Yeah, that's what I
manner,
mean. It's like you're hopeful.
Which
I guess that's the same.
I love the show, but that's the one thing that I would say about it that I didn't like about it. The ending.
What, do you want it to be complete destruction?
No, because the whole buildup to this entire show, or while you're watching it, is that you think that this it's a very horror elemented series, right? Like
It's not though.
it's not,
Mhm.
but the whole thing is scary, right? Like it has a lot of scary elements in it. It has a lot of actually, it doesn't really do a lot of jump scares, your traditional jump scares.
No.
How it's set up is it has a lot of shots where it'll focus on a specific point, and then you are supposed to notice things in the background.
Yeah.
And those things in the background, you're like, these people can't see it in the background, but I can see it, and you can't do anything about it. That's what makes it scary, right? And so like you have this buildup over and over and over again through every single episode, and you have about like 10 episodes, I think it was, right?
Yeah.
It's like
I think it's 10. Yeah.
10 episodes. And so like the entire thing is basically talking about these kids who grew up in a haunted house and what it was like growing up in that. And so the oldest child, Steve, wrote a book about his experience in it. And he made a lot of money off of it because it was the best selling book he's ever written.
Yes.
But all of his siblings, he has 5 other siblings. And all of his siblings kind of hate him for writing that book because he was the oldest one.
He was the least affected by everything that was going on in the house.
Exactly. But
Quote unquote, because he still had, I guess he wasn't aware that he was having these episodes. You remember?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Man.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was going to say because towards the end of the show, they kind of bring that up. He was like, "There's no ghosts." Like he was in complete denial
Yes.
of this entire experience, right?
Yes.
And so what I was saying about, like, to backtrack a little bit, if you don't mind, but like what I was talking about in the ending is like you have all of these buildups to make it scary, and the ending makes it completely takes it away. It makes it very peaceful. It makes it very wholesome, which is why, like, I kind of like, I would like it if it was scary the entire way through. I know it needs
But
this,
that's
like,
what makes the show different now.
it does
It's a
normally,
different show, and it's something you would want to watch. It's something different than your typical horror film or
right,
horror show.
right,
But anyways,
because
continue.
normally, actually, to your point, like, normally you have these horror movies or shows. Typically they'll have, like, you start off with like this person, they're going through troubles, and then like the weird things start happening, and then from there, like, they're having like this, like, either entity chase after them, a ghost chase after them, or trying to kill them, and then either they die at the end, or they feel like they found a way to get rid of that curse or that
Yeah,
ghost or that person, and then from there they're like, oh, I made it out. And it's just like a very generic ending, but
it
this
is.
is a very, like, happy type of ending. Even though it was very chaotic at the end, it was very happy. And so, like, be, that was my biggest, like, thing with it. I love the show, but like I just feel like it kind of, it lost all horror element at the end of the show. It ended in a more happy ending,
Right.
but that's where I kind of lost it. It
Lost it.
lost it for me, but it does wrap everything up in a nice little bow. Do you know what I mean?
Completely different, and the floating man.
The floating dude,
That kind of creeped me out
the floating man was creepy, especially when they show Luke,
under
and
the
he's
bed.
like under the bed.
Oh man.
So there's a scene where Luke is one of the six children, right?
Yeah.
And
Well, the twins.
or the one of the twins, and there's five children, not six. No, there's five.
That's fine, right?
Yeah, because, so to explain the scene, and then I'll jump into my other point. I dropped a little tidbit in the beginning of this, which I just found out about the show after watching it 4 times. I'm gonna put a counter up on the screen for how many times I mentioned that I've watched this show. I'm going to. I have to, because I literally just I
Bro, we get it. You watched it.
no, I didn't, bro. I have to tell you about the show. I need to. But basically, um, you have Luke, who is, so they'll go back and forth between showing the kids when they're going through their
When they're old
experience in
and
the hill in
they're
the
kids.
house, and then they'll have experiences where they're adults, right? And so this particular scene is Luke, one of the twins, as a child, and he is inside of his bedroom, and he has this really tall, stretched out guy who's floating with a cane.
Oh, it's a really creepy scene.
Hmm.
Like it's something, and the whole vibe and so dark, and the lighting makes it so much creepier.
Dude, it's picture being a younger kid, right, at night by yourself. Your parents are sleeping, and you are kind of just like, you hear like noises, or your door starts opening, like, what you pull the covers over your head, right?
Hmm.
Or you try to get underneath the bed because that's where you think you're going to be safe. So Luke gets underneath the bed, and he's hiding from this stretched out tall man. And keep in mind, this ghost has, like, his face is like a dark blue, like a light
Yeah,
opaque
it's kind of
blue.
like almost like statue-like
Hmm.
features. I
Yeah,
don't know. I'm not features, but color.
yeah,
It's like a
and
bluish, grayish,
yeah,
cool colors.
and he has, like, these white eyes, like they're all
Did he?
white. Yeah, yeah, they were white. And basically, like, the guy was looking for his top hat. That was the whole thing,
Yeah.
which makes it like, oh, that's not really scary at all. But like, he was looking for his top hat.
If you think about it, it wasn't scary. It's just a
No,
situation. Like the
yeah,
actual scene was creepy, and
yeah, it
you
was
wouldn't want
just
to be there.
this dark tone, and you see this kid, like, fearful for his life, or fearful, like, just, you're a kid trying to, like, go to sleep, and you hear these footsteps and everything like that. But anyway, this guy reaches, this long tall guy whose his feet are floating off the ground. He's not walking,
Yeah, he's
he's
just floating.
floating. And he comes up to the bed. It's very slow, so the music has, like, toned down a little bit. There's no music, and he's walking straight up to the bed. And Luke is like, he's panting, he's panting, and the long guy reaches his hand underneath the bed.
You don't even see his knees bend.
No, you don't see his knees bend at all, and then his face just drops down, and then Luke just screams.
Screams, and it leaves at that.
It leaves it at that.
Like, what the hell happened?
You're like, where did it go from that? But like, what, you know how I mentioned I was talking about Steve, right? He's the oldest one who like denied like most of the experience, right?
Yes.
You know why I specifically say deny?
Is he new?
No. Well, yes. But like what I just found out about this show is that each one of the children represent the 5 stages of grief in the show.
Oh.
Yes. It's a little bit of a spoil since you haven't really watched it the second time.
I can see that.
But go back and watch it again if you have time. Obviously, like you're a busy man, you have kids and you have a wife, so like definitely.
If anything, next Spooktober,
yeah,
I'm gonna go again.
You will pick up on a lot of subtleties that you missed. Like there's crazy foreshadowing. I said that in the beginning. There's crazy foreshadowing. They tell you about Nell's death way ahead of time. They tell you about her death in like episode 1.
I feel like Nell is almost borderline like the main character.
She's like almost like the borderline main character, but like if you've also noticed, every one of the children have a specific gift.
Yeah.
And so I guess we never really explained what this house was, but this house is basically what they reveal to you at the end of the show is that this house is, you can die there and you can basically remain there. Like your soul is trapped in that house. So anybody who dies in that house, your soul is like is there and you could walk around freely. So a lot of so there were some people that died in this house, and in order to stay with them together forever in like a purgatory kind of like standpoint was for them to die in this house.
And that's the whole reason for the show too, because they end up actually leaving this house, and like this house kind of has like its own personality. And they mention it in the show, like the whole reason the house is looking after them or wants to claim their souls, quote unquote, is because it as they quote it in the show, it was an unfinished meal.
Yeah, it's like it was like a at this point, which is a good like metaphor for like the house, because this show or like this house is basically, when they're older and they're coming back to it, it's like a carcass. That's another word that they use for it. It's an empty carcass because there's nobody living in it. There's no furniture.
When they come back,
nothing.
When they come back to it.
Yeah. And it's an empty carcass.
But it was really cool when each time they would come around the house, the lights would light up.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, kind of like giving it life. Like, oh wait, they're here or something like that.
Like Nell, when she came back to the house, like she was talking to her dad on the phone. I'm getting goosebumps right now. Oh, before I forget, I wanted to talk about this this one point, and this is why I say you absolutely have to go back and watch it. So again, for anybody who has not watched this show, this conversation has mainly just been a lot of spoilers. There's been a lot of back and forth, a lot of banter, whatever. But what I will say is the first episode alone does a great job with setting the tone for the rest of the shows from episode 1
as it should
to episode 10. So to say that Steve wakes up, he hears Nell, he hears Nell and Luke. Nell is crying. He goes checks to check on her. She says that she saw the bent neck lady, which, as you know, we just talked about that.
Her from the future.
And so Steve talks about just trying to talk to her, calming her down, right? Then the dad comes in later on, and then he goes, you know, sometimes as a child, your dreams can spill over into reality. So they're not real. They're just, children's dreams are just stronger, right? And that comforts her enough for her to go to bed. She goes to bed, right? In that time, he tells Steve to go back to bed. As he goes back to bed, the dad like kisses her goodnight, closes the door, right?
That was creepy.
And so like this is what I mean by like they show these scenes intentionally. Every shot is intentional. It's picked out perfectly. It's held exactly how it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
And you're watching it, and if they're focusing on a certain area for very long, it's because they want you to notice something.
Yeah.
And so the dad walks out of the room, closes the door, and he goes and he hears Shelly talking in her sleep. And he hears her like mumbling whatever. So he goes and checks on her. She's right down the hall. So he opens the door. She's like says something about like pandas don't eat macaroni. And so like he's like, oh, okay, whatever, not a big deal. So he closes the door. Meanwhile, the camera is like pointed out at Shelly.
Mm-hmm.
And so like they're showing his interaction, like his head peering in. It'll switch from his head peering in to a shot of like her sleeping in the bed. He closes the door, right? And as he closes the door, his back is faced. His like, you know, when you're closing a door, you're backing out, right?
Yeah.
And so the camera shot is focusing down the hall
Mm-hmm.
of the area, right? So you
Yeah.
can see all the way down to the hall. You can see where he is, where he's standing, and all the way down the hall. And you can see on the left hand side, and they play it out very slow, so you have time to notice it. But you can see on the left hand side that the door that he just closed from Nell and Luke's room is open. And so he walks back over to
I
the
don't think I
door.
caught that.
You didn't catch it? Well, the funny thing is, I went back to go like jog my memory for the show. And like I was like, dude, I didn't even notice that. And so he goes back to the door and he looks up at it, looks up and then looks down and like confused. And then he peers into the room and he notices that Nell and Luke are both asleep. And so he's like in his mind, like you can just pretend to think what he's thinking. He's like,
Yeah.
I remember closing this door. Like, why is it open? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Wow.
And then he closes it. And when he closes it, he puts his hand on the door, pushes on it, and then he takes his hand off. And then that's when the scene cuts and it starts like to the whole rest of the episode of episode 1. And that's just episode 1.
Yes.
Like I'm telling you, there's things that you miss. You need to go back.
And this show has so many like scenes where they really show the psychological factor of it. Like what was his name? Mr. Smiley? Something like that. What was his name?
Mr. Smiley,
No,
yes. Yeah.
was it Mr.
Yeah,
Smiley?
yeah, it was Mr. Smiley. That was
Bro, that kind of
Theo's
shocked
patient.
me at the end. You see, I wasn't actually this is one of the scenes that my wife watched,
Mhm.
and she caught on to it quick.
Yeah.
But I did not. You know, you think Mr. Smiley, a little girl talking about Mr. Smiley, that itself creeps me out.
Oh yeah, anything that when children are talking about like, yeah, I saw this thing, like it's standing right behind you. It's like that,
Yeah.
bro. I'm like, don't even.
But it wasn't even anything like supernatural. It was
No.
You would have to see the show to see it. I don't want to spoil this, but Mr. Smiley is actually a person that she assigns this character
Mhm.
to, and I'm just gonna say that this person was doing something to her.
Mhm.
And the way they put that together, it's crazy, and it shocks you when you see the end result.
What I really like about how Hill House, Bly Manor, House of Usher, and Midnight Mass, what they all do, they utilize all of the same characters. Like for the most part,
Mhm.
like some of them are in them, some of them are not. They kind of sprinkle them out, but a lot of the actors in it are chef kiss. They're fantastic. They act so well to the point where like you feel as though this is reality. This is happening.
Yeah.
This is like a documentary.
I
The
agree.
acting in it is phenomenal. I can't attest to that
I agree
enough.
because and you don't notice it. The only acting that you notice is bad acting.
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah, bad acting is one thing that you notice, but these characters are all believable. Like
Yeah.
it
Mhm.
feels as though they can like they are real people.
I want to say the same thing about the House of Usher.
House of Usher. How many episodes did you get to watch?
Again, don't take my word for it. I only watched like half an episode.
Sure.
But like just the start of the show, I feel like the acting wasn't as good as Hill House.
Wasn't?
Yes, I felt, but I don't know. I'm still watching it. My mind will change. Can change after.
Yeah, I mean, I have to disagree with you. I would say if there's any actor that wasn't pulling his weight that much in it. So the dad that's in Hill House plays I believe his name is Froderick. He plays
Mhm.
Froderick. He's a guy he has a ponytail. He has a wife and a daughter, and he's the oldest child in House of Usher.
Mhm.
And his acting, I don't know if it's intentional this way or not, but it's very kind of like sporadic and almost doesn't feel believable. But for me, every other character hits and lands. And like, so you've only watched one episode of House of Usher. I did a lot of like backtracking and looking at like every scene to break it
And this is a
down.
new show.
Yeah, it just came out. It just came out as of I believe like 2 weeks ago,
Mm.
as of this recording, and we're recording on the 25th of October.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so like I know, so there are subtle cues, and like the way that they started this out was very similar to um how they started off. um okay.
Dude, I got so scared.
We're recording right now, and his laptop fell asleep, and he's like, "Crap! Did it stop recording?" But no, we were still
We're good.
recording. We're good. We're good. Um, but like, there's a lot of subtle cues between House of Usher and Hill House and Bly Manor and Midnight Mass, and the way they kind of pull bits and pieces from each one of the shows,
Mhm.
and how Bly Manor starts off is very similar to how House of Usher starts off.
Mm.
So I'll only go off the first episode because that's the only thing you watch, and I want to make it as spoil free as possible.
No, I'm actually excited because I did get to see the part where I guess the mom was, the all the lights of the house turned off and there was thunder and lightning.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And then, I mean, this is kind of stereotypical, but when the lightning would hit,
Yeah,
you would kind of see the back, like the mom.
yeah,
I was creepy.
yeah.
I actually liked it. It wasn't really horrific, but
No,
it gave you chills.
right? No, but like that's the thing with the directors and the producers for these shows. They do it so well. Like they take a classic trope, right, which is like the lightning flashes, you can see a shadowy figure in the
Yeah,
background. They do it so well.
yeah.
Like it just works every
Like
single
it's not
time.
cringy. It's not like, oh, I expect it to be like that, but they do it well, like you said.
Yeah. And so specifically just talking about the first episode, there was, so the mom, and again, spoiler alert, we're talking about the show. So if you want, fast forward it a little bit, but this is just talking about the first
Yeah.
episode. This doesn't set the precedent for the entire show. But essentially, the mom ends up dying from this disease.
Hmm.
She refuses to get any type of like medical treatment, any like medicine or anything like that. And so the kids know that there's a man down the street who has a lot of money. There's also been some talk that they may be related somehow, but he denies it. They may be their father, but
Yeah.
he denies it in every shape and form. He's very angry, very bitter, rich man, which is another topic about the show. And I'll describe the show in one word, and then it's kind of where I'll leave it. But the mom ends up dying, and the kids don't know what to do, so they bury her back in the backyard, right?
Hmm.
And so they go to bed, the lights flash, blah blah blah. This is what you were talking about.
Yeah.
And so they run outside, or the young kid, his name is Roderick. He looks out the window and he notices that the where they buried their mom, she's gone. Like she busted out of like
It's like a
the coffin,
zombie.
like a
That's kind of what it
zombie.
reminded me of.
Yeah, exactly. And from
They
there,
see the footsteps.
they see the footsteps, so they follow back into the house, and like the light flashes. What was that? Did you hear that?
What is that?
I don't know. Something just like hit our lamp. I think there's like a moth in here or something.
No, that's too heavy to be a moth. It's got to be like.
A cicada.
Yeah.
Bro, it's October. Cicadas are dead.
Anyway.
But like, so the mom ends up grabbing the son by the throat,
Hmm.
and like the girl, the kid's sister, is like, "Mommy," I don't want to do it. Like, okay, I'll say
Yeah.
it. "Mommy," I'll say it like that. But he ends up seeing,
That's pretty
and
good.
so, oh, was it? I mean, I could be an actor.
You are.
I am. What do you think? I mean, I'm gonna go on Broadway right now.
Broadway.
Do you think I'm not good enough for Broadway?
I mean,
Broadway?
bro, if you think you're good enough, bro, I mean, go to Broadway.
I can.
Go, bro.
I feel like you're just kind of like talking me down a little bit.
Nah, no way. I would never do that.
Okay. So would you say that I'm better than Brad Pitt in acting?
Yes,
Why?
because I know you more than I know Brad Pitt.
I mean, but you watch him in movies. You've never watched me in a movie.
Yeah, but I want to give you support.
You want to give me support. So you'll start campaigning that Justin Watson is better than Brad Pitt.
If I have to.
Who's your favorite actor? If you had to
That's
pick
a
one.
good question. My favorite actor.
Your favorite actor or actress.
I don't know, dude.
Come on, man. I know you got a favorite actress or actor.
No, man. I mean, I got
Jada Pinkett Smith.
yeah.
Jaden Smith.
Actually, no, but Will Smith is a good actor. I consider him a really good actor.
You think so? I don't know, man. A lot of people would argue with you on that.
That's okay. I mean,
yeah, like, that's okay. That's whatever.
Has their right to their opinion, but yeah, Will Smith is a good actor. Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman, bro. The only reason why people like Morgan Freeman is because of his voice.
Yeah, that too.
It's very iconic.
It is. I mean,
super iconic.
I can't imagine what that guy does.
Bro, that would be like a dark. I feel like he's like 102 years old.
He was born 102.
Bro, yeah, you ever see those memes where it's like Morgan Freeman has been old his entire life?
His entire life. Oh.
That's funny.
But no, Leo DiCaprio.
Leonardo DiCaprio. I'm better than him.
Yes. Oh, you're better than that. But you're the top dog. You're going to Broadway.
All right. Well, when I make millions of dollars, I'll say like, yo, he's my bud. He's gonna end up
He's
being
my bud.
he's my bud. He's gonna can he be like the reprising role in this movie, right? That's not the word I wanted to use, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I'll
like
be the background guy.
No. I want you to be front center.
Like main guy.
Next to me.
Okay.
Next to me. Like
you're Batman, I'm Robin.
Pretty much, yeah.
Why?
Well, because I'm Batman and you're Robin.
You know what? I accept it.
Robin does a lot of talking, right? Batman doesn't do a lot of talking. So I could easily be Batman. Clearly, I don't talk
Bro,
a
I
lot.
can see you as Batman.
Yeah. Why? Because I'm...
I knew it was going to that.
Because it's dark outside?
Huh?
And you can't see me?
Yeah, because, it's dark.
Bro, you're really coming at me right now, bro. I feel like...
Batman is dark. Like, you have that dark vibe. You have that dark vibe.
I feel like we're talking about two different types of
No,
dark.
we're not, dude. I'm just saying you have that dark vibe. Like, the Dark Knight. You know what I mean?
I don't know. Like, so you could say, like, the Black Knight.
No way.
No? Okay.
The Dark Knight.
All right. I mean, I'm just checking. I'm just making sure. I don't know what you're trying to get at here.
I'm just saying the Dark Knight.
All right. Fair enough. I'll take your word for it. But Usher, House of Usher, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. So the mom grips. Why are you sitting there staring at me? So the mom ends up gripping the son by the neck, and the little girl goes like, "Mommy."
Yeah.
There you go. You got it 2 times in a row, or back to back. And so like eventually she lets go of the boy, and she ends up walking out into the rain. They follow her in the rain.
Oh, she kills that dude.
Yeah, they're like slowly following her, and I guess like in her she refused to die until she took this man with him.
With her.
But with her. But essentially she walks over to this wealthy man's house, right? Mm-hmm. The guy that we were saying that may or may not have any implications that may be the father of her children, of these 2 children that you're watching. And so you watch her slowly walking in this thunderstorm, and she gets to the man, and the man comes out yelling at them like, "Get off my property, like you don't belong here, blah 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 blah." And eventually she goes up to him, grips his neck, throws him on the ground.
I didn't get that.
You didn't get that?
Continue. Sorry, I'll say something after.
Oh, okay.
But she throws him on the ground.
Mm-hmm. And so she chokes him and kills him, and then he dies.
Ain't no way in hell that's happening in real life.
No way. And no way.
No way.
I was like, wait, he said what?
No way. It was like the mom is like scrawny. and then this dude is
Yeah.
like big, and she
Yeah.
just like grabs him by the throat and like I don't know
Yeah.
if she has superpowers. Again, I just watched the first episode.
I would say it's more of like a not a demonic, but like this
Force, definitely on
this
some other force
force
that
of
is not
nature.
her.
Yeah, that's not her
Okay,
gripping. Like so that's why her
that
hands
makes
aren't
sense
coming off.
because like I almost laughed at that.
Yeah. Like her hands are like gripped up on there. There's no way you're getting those things off.
Yeah.
Like they are locked on, baby.
Mm.
Not coming off.
Yeah, I mean, but
It's a Friday night and you're 14 years old. Subliminal messages and moving on.
Yeah.
But what were you saying?
No, I was saying like it's almost laughable because like she's so scrawny and this dude is pretty big.
Yeah.
And she just so easily grabs him. Like no, there's no sign that it's another spiritual force. I mean, I guess she's raised from the dead. Maybe she has some kind of
I mean,
super strength or something like that.
What is she? Frankenstein's creator or creature?
I don't know. I mean,
well, that's what I'm saying.
She
like
kind of looked like what's his name from Batman, The Dark Knight. From Batman, bro.
Batman.
Damn, Two-Face.
Who's that?
She kind of looked like Two-Face.
Oh well, that's because her face was all messed up.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think that was because
I
think that was because they buried her, and like something happened with that. I don't know. Like I honestly,
she looked creepy.
She looked super creepy, covered in mud, like dark hair covering over her face, and
almost like she was like half decomposed.
Yeah, half decomposed. But she was only in there for like a day or two, like maybe
that's what I mean.
A day or two.
It's like that fast.
Yeah.
Dude, you're
but
looking over your shoulder.
I don't know, bro. I feel like you keep looking past me, and I'm like, I don't know. Is there something?
There's nothing behind.
Is there something behind me?
It's the conversation sweeping you out,
bro. So check this out, right? Do you remember last time we were? I think it was the first episode, right? Or last time you were over here, we were talking about talk to me. I never finished my point in that.
Okay.
Right. I kind of got off topic. That'll happen to me a lot where I'll talk about something and somebody will say something else. I'll get distracted and I'll start on that other tangent. I'll never finish what I was talking about before. Happens a lot with me. But Talk to Me is this movie called basically you put your hand on this other hand. It's like a statue of a hand, and it has these markings on it from like people who signed it and stuff like that. And basically it's this like demonic hand, right? And you put your hand, like you're shaking it, right? You put your hand on it.
I've seen the trailer.
You seen, bro? The trailers don't do it enough justice. It's creepy. I will never go back and watch it. It's too. There's a reason why I stopped watching demonic movies, and that is the exact reason. But I have a point for where I'm going with this.
Okay. Continue.
So, I put it on. Victoria and her friend and I are watching it, and so essentially, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to grab the hand, and you're supposed to say, "Talk to me." And when you say "talk to me," your hand is gripped onto the hand, like you can't let go of it. It won't let go of you. And then you say, "Let me in." And then you let whatever like spirit or demonic presence into your body, and it will talk through you, right? And as you know, like that stuff, like bro, I've heard real stories of that happening to not the hands specifically, but being possessed by another thing by other people, and like the experiences behind it, bro. It's like another force of nature. Like it's just completely out of this world. It's unnatural.
I wouldn't mess with that.
No, bro. No. That's why I don't watch. That's why I don't watch it anymore. But like, anyway, we watched it. It was a scary movie. So if you're really into that like type of genre movie, I would say go watch that. It'll definitely make you not be able to sleep. But I remember like it freaked me out a lot. Like we only got through like maybe 30, 40 minutes of the show or the movie, and I stopped. Both of them went to bed, and I wasn't really that tired, but I was also freaked out. So I stayed out on the couch and I was like watching Game Grumps. Shout out to them. No, you'll never hear it, but shout out to them. I really like watching them. And I ended up falling asleep on the couch. Like I didn't want to go to bed because I knew I was freaked out. So I fell asleep on the couch. I got up. I woke up and I was like, I could sleep for a little bit more, but I'll go to bed. So I go to bed. All the lights are off. So I turn the lights off. I walk into the bedroom and I'm walking to the bathroom. I have all the lights off because I've memorized the floor plans of the apartment by now. And
I would expect you to.
So I'm walking out of I go to the bathroom. I walk out of the bathroom, right? I turn the lights on, turn them off. And I hear like a lady talking talking.
What?
I heard a lady talking. No, I swear, bro. I swear. You give me this disapproving look. Come on, give me the benefit of the doubt.
I want to hear the story.
I might have just
Like
been
in the mirror.
not
Like
in the
Bloody
mirror.
Mary type.
No, bro. See, like that's what I'm saying. Like
See, that's what I'm saying.
I might have just been delirious
No,
because
but okay.
I had just woken up, but it's never happened to me, but before. But like, oh, okay, that's not true. That has happened to me before, where I thought I heard somebody talking to me.
Okay.
And so I'm walking out of the bathroom. I'm washing my hands, and the lights are off, and I'm like, Victoria is sleeping, and like I hear like somebody talking, like a girl mumbling or talking.
Like next to you, or like was it
like
downstairs or
neighbor? No, like in the room. Like everybody was asleep. Like our neighbor downstairs, she was asleep, and like I hear this lady talking, and she go and like I can't remember exactly what she was saying. And I was like, Victoria, hello, what'd you say? And she wakes up and she's like, who are you talking to? I was like, you're awake, right? Like you were trying to talk to me. She was like, no, that wasn't me. I was like, what are you talking about? That was definitely you. And she's like, no, it wasn't me at all.
Wow.
The other night we were going to bed. It was probably like
Wait, didn't you say somebody died in this apartment?
No way. Yes, no. Nobody died in this apartment. What do you mean? Who told you that?
Like you tell me somebody died in this apartment.
I was joking. That's probably me. Okay. There's no way that somebody died in this. Then again, I mean, you about to die tonight. Anyways, but we were going to bed, right? It was around like 11:30 at night, right? And we're just like laying in bed, getting ready. We just turned off the lights, and you hear something like I don't know, like anything can happen. Like you can't just jump to straight to conclusions. Oh, it's a ghost. You can't just like do that. You kind of just like it's whatever. But like it was just how it happened and everything like that. You hear this like thud in the middle, like randomly, like at like 11:30 at night, just a thud.
Do you sleep in complete silence?
No, we have a fan on.
Okay, good.
Well, I just bought this nice little fan, bro. This fan is high tech, super high tech.
Does it make sound?
A little bit.
Gotta make a lot of sound. That's why you heard that thud. See, I don't play around with that. I have to get a fan that makes a lot of sound.
I just changed it out because I like Amazon Prime Day came up and we were like, I was like, well, we have guests that come here and spend the night, and we're like, well, and some of them need a fan to sleep. It's like the white noise. Like I need that too. And so we're like, well, let's get another fan. How much would you spend on a fan? On a fan? Yeah. What's your max?
Like for me, it has to have good airflow and has to have good noise.
Right.
But I would spend a good $30 to $40 on a good fan.
How much do you think is too much for a fan?
Too much for a fan?
Yeah. What's the cost? Like how much?
Like for a fan, bro?
Like, yeah, for a fan.
Come on, man. Like anything over $60.
Bro, you'd hate me for how much I spent on this fan.
How much you spent on this fan?
I spent $117 on this fan.
Hold on. I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt. What does this fan do?
It gives me massages.
Yeah, I bet it better. I mean, I'm serious. What does this fan do,
bro? Okay, so hear me out, right? I can turn it on.
I'm hearing you out.
With the Google speaker. The Google Mini. I could say, I won't say because it'll trigger a lot of people's devices, although most of you guys are probably listening to it with headphones. But you can say blank Google, and you can say turn on the fan, and it'll turn the fan on. You can turn it up to whatever number you want. And you can change the setting to like night setting, blah 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 blah.
Just with your voice.
With your voice. I mean, it has an app you can connect it to. You can do that. So, and it's a little too quiet for my taste, honestly.
But they sell controllers. Like usually fans come with controllers.
Yes, but the whole idea nowadays is like, okay, you have an Alexa at home, right?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry guys, I didn't mean to say that. But you have that at home. Well, the whole point of that is that like you tell it to turn on your lights, right?
Yeah.
And the whole future is that like you're telling it to turn on your lights and your fan and your TV and your PlayStation and blah blah blah, right? That's what the whole point is. And so like there was another one I was gonna get, and it was like $60, right? And that's the one Victoria was like, that's the obvious one that I want to get. And so I was like, yes, but this one doesn't have Google.
Dude, you're disgusting.
I couldn't hold it, man. I had to. I was like, I don't know where to point this.
Oh, but yeah.
Honestly, I don't really care, to be honest. Hey, listen, we all burp, right? Remember Bobby Scheid?
Bro, he's hearing us right
He's listening. Oh well, love you, Bobby Shad.
now.
Anyway, but she was like $60 is the most amount of that I would ever go on a what are you doing with your arms over there?
I'm scratching. You said $60. Okay, $60.
$60. Yes. He's doing stuff over there and I'm getting distracted. I'm like, I need to I need to focus.
Bro, $60. You could have just bought the $60 with a
Yes,
controller.
but it didn't have Google
Bro,
on it.
I mean, I can't blame you.
Like that's
but I
all.
can blame.
We have 2 Google speakers, right? Which you can turn. I can turn on the Xbox. I can turn on the TV, and I can. We have these Philips Hue light bulbs that I can turn on in our bedroom and in our office room. We can turn those all on with Google, but you can't do that. Like the other fan that I was looking at, it only had Alexa. So I was like, well, I don't have an Alexa, and it's like, why am I going to invest in the $60 fan that I can't even use the full features for? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like,
So
it's
I'd
like
rather you spend $117.
yeah, so I just spent double that.
Okay,
I just spent
okay.
double that. It's like if you buy a PS5 and you're still playing on a CRT TV.
I don't know what it's at.
You don't know what a CRT TV is? Do you remember back in the day?
Big box TV? Like
yeah,
the box.
big box TV.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
the TVs that had like the yellow, red, and white.
All you wondering, I probably didn't. By that time, I didn't know English.
You didn't know English? Or do you speak Chinese? It's the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
So the transition when those TVs came out, and then the plasma TVs, I guess the flat screen.
Yeah, my dad has
I was
a plasma.
still kind of like learning to speak English.
That's funny that you say plasma TV because my dad has a plasma TV downstairs in his basement right now. Guess how big it is?
Oh no, bro, Michael Scott?
Bro, Michael Scott.
No way, no way.
Yes.
No,
yes, bro. Yes,
you're joking, dude. You're joking.
It is literally the same size as Michael Scott's TV.
No.
It is.
No.
It's like what was that like?
Bro,
20 inches?
Who's gonna tell him?
Bro, I told him, I was like, Dad, why don't you? He bought another TV, and he was like, why don't you just take it down? He's like, no, I'll just wait till that TV goes out. That TV's never going out.
Dude, your dad is cool as hell, bro.
He's like, you want to check out something iconic?
No, you did not say that.
I got a plasma screen TV, 20-inch downstairs in the basement right now. I want to watch a movie. If I have to squint to watch the movie, I don't want to watch it.
That is iconic. I'll tell you that. That was iconic.
Yeah. But super sidetracked, talk to me, super creep me out. But yeah, like that's what these movies will do, or like they'll give this sense of like hostility and creepiness. And for you, like you have one specific show that kind of gives you that, right? Like one that you actually like watching around the season. And the new season just started, right? You don't know what I'm talking about?
For what?
For scary movies. Or not scary movies, scary shows.
Yes, yeah.
American Horror Story, right?
Yes. Dude, American Horror Story. And they go way back.
Yeah.
But with American Horror Story, they're also like a class of its own. Because you would think especially with their covers and their art, you would think it's like more horror oriented. But it's more like suspenseful, creepy, almost like, I wouldn't call, Haunting in Hill House and American Horror Story the same thing. But
Yeah,
like
no,
something you would expect to be more like jump scares and like demonic stuff. I mean, there is some demonic stuff, but it's more of
in American Horror Story.
Yeah, in American
okay.
Horror Story, it's more subtleness. I can't even say that. I guess every season with American Horror Story, every season is different, so you don't need to watch.
Right.
Except like some later seasons connect with some of the earlier seasons.
Yeah.
But other than that, every season is kind of different.
What's your favorite one?
I would say my favorite season of American Horror Story would have to be Coven, and that's strictly personal. Right. I guess subjective.
Do you remember like the overall like story of that season or the premise, or is it like vague?
It's kind of what the title says is Coven, witches.
Oh, okay, so it's like a witchy or
yes, but they take it like into like seriously. You think of Halloween and witches, but they will go deep into it, like witches, like Salem type deal.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a coven, and then they have a war with the voodoo people, and it's like witches versus voodoos, and like,
So now you're having wars and for with witches.
yeah,
That's a new so like Harry Potter.
dude, stop. No, 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 no.
I mean,
But it really takes on the dark side of of that subject,
yeah,
and that's why I love it.
right. I think I think overall my general consensus with American Horror Story hasn't been all that great. And I know I'm probably in the minority for
Why
that.
is that?
I can't connect with a lot of the stories. And like to be fair, I've only watched um maybe 2 seasons and it hasn't been the whole way through.
So connect. Explain like how
Like
would you say
I
connect?
feel like the acting, in my opinion, that's why I was going to challenge you on that. Like I disagree with you on that. And see, you can disagree with people
Oh yeah,
on like whatever, as long as you're respectful of the other person's thing, or you're
right.
just like, bro, like, man,
Yeah,
I'll bleep that out.
yeah.
But just like I did before. But like I think from watching American Horror Story, I didn't really get the acting in it. Like, you know how like the acting in Hill House, I know it's different,
Hmm.
right? But like Hill House and Usher, like the acting in those, like it's very believable. Like I feel like those
Yeah,
characters
American Horror
belong.
Story is more of a play type deal.
Yeah, and
Almost
yeah,
play. And excuse me.
ew.
See, I burp, bro. I don't
That's
fart. I just burp.
well, you just lifted yourself off the
No,
carpet, so
I lifted myself. But yeah, you're right. American Horror Story has this play vibe.
yeah.
It's almost like that's, I guess Harry Potter. It's not believable, but it's
No,
just more of like a play or a movie. Yeah,
yeah.
movie, I guess.
Now that you say that, that's probably the best way that I would that it
It's not
relates.
that
Yeah,
they're bad actors. It's just that's the way the show is supposed to be.
right. And I think that's why it doesn't really resonate. I mean, that doesn't
Maybe
why
that's your preference.
that's my preference, and I guess that's why it doesn't really resonate with me. But you could argue the same thing about every series, every movie, blah blah, because it's
Yeah.
technically all one big play. That's what it is.
Hmm.
But like the performances are treated differently in Hill House and Usher versus American Horror Story. I think.
Oh no,
I
I
think.
agree with you.
And because of that, I feel like the roles are a little bit more believable in those shows. But again, the actors they just really sell it.
Hmm.
But like I think I only watched a couple episodes of one season when my girlfriend and I met, and then I also watched a the newest one that's out recent that just came out. And this one, I've only got to see a couple episodes here and there, but from what I gather, like it starts off very good, and then it kind of just tapers off, and you kind of like lose interest. Like you haven't watched the beginning or the season at all, have you?
Which one of the newest American Horror Story?
Yeah,
No, I haven't.
actually, I will say the one that did catch my attention, and I know this one's controversial in air quotes. I'm doing air quotes for you,
Mhm.
but the one with Kim Kardashian.
I
So that
haven't watched
one,
that one.
you haven't watched it. So I won't give too much away for that one. Again, I haven't really like watched it too much, but I will say basically what everyone else has been saying. She fits her role for what she's doing in that very well because she does a lot of that in like her real life. Like
Right.
so like it fits, it works. Like so she does pretty well with that role. But I will say like this gives off like a very I honestly couldn't tell you really much what's going on in this, but from a lot of like the setups from it, it kind of they do a very good job with like showing you this haunting or this like this fear factor. Basically, like the main character is like making this deal with somebody that's for her business, and she ends up going to this bathroom, and I can't even honestly tell you if it's delusion or like she's like not really seeing it. It's not reality at all. But there's this lady that ends up like talking to her. She's like, oh, I know you, that you're really cool, like you're really famous, I really like your products, blah blah blah. And the lady ends up touching the main character's stomach, and she ends up being pregnant, and like the main character starts freaking out. She's like, don't touch my baby. And she ends up like smacking her over the head with this like or like pushing her out of the way, and her head hits this granite counter, and she kills her,
Oh
right?
shoot.
So she's freaking out. She's freaking out. She leaves the bathroom. She goes up on stage. She's trying to give her speech. And she's giving her speech. She sees the lady that she just kills sitting in a chair with half of her face like bashed
That's
in.
crazy.
And like, so I will say from that specific One with Kim Kardashian was a very good. It was very good representation of like a psychological horror. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So did really like that.
And I feel with American Horror Story, it's more about the stereotypical stories that you hear. Like, there's witches, there's the freak show, um, there's just different, like, main spooky stories, and they just
Yeah,
take a whole season and just make it about that.
right.
And they go in depth with it, and I think it's really cool how they do it.
Yeah. I think overall those are some like really good shows, and honestly, for the last day of Spooktober, like this is at the time of this recording, and when you guys are gonna be able to hear this is gonna be the last day of October, and so like I hope you guys really got to enjoy the whole spectrum of October. I know for me, at least for me speaking, it was kind of a little like empty. I feel like I didn't really get the full horror vibe this season. I did do a lot of spooky stuff. I didn't do any pumpkin carving though.
I'll be doing that Saturday.
Saturday, yeah, I got to try to make some time for that because we had a super busy schedule, so we're gonna try to make time for that. But thank you
Yeah.
guys so much for joining us on this episode of the Leisure Hub podcast. This has been episode number 3 with Pedro Madera, and this has been Justin Watson. And honestly, what are you looking at me for?
I don't know, because it's been spooky.
Spooky.
It's been spooky. It's been fun. Just having a good time talking about this. I wish it was Spooktober for 3 months out of the year.
You sound bored.
Bored.
Well, with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to end this one. We thank you so much for watching. Appreciate you. Have a good night, y'all. Stay spooky. Moving on to November, coming at you with some special new things. Now, this is going to be our regular hobby podcast. And we'll see you guys on the next one.
See you guys. Thank you.
Man, dude, your farts?
No, not part. I'm like, why? I'm like, why you say that?
Say what?
When did I fart?
All right, I'm leaving that in.
Why you say I was farting?
I'm leaving that in.
Leaving what in?
All of that. Because I'm still recording.
No. Don't leave that in.